Good afternoon, Misfits. You are tuning into a special edition post-open recap podcast. Full goon squad in the house. Don't forget, if you head to misfitathletics.com right now, our brand spanking new website is there. And if you are a user that has been there for a day, a week, a month, 9 years, whatever it is, make sure you go in and customize your own user profile. I am reminded of this because this morning I went to leave a comment and my username is Drew-Misfit Athletics. So I will be going back in and redoing my user profile to make sure you guys know that it's me. We also have revamped weakness templates. We went in and redid all of the weakness templates. And if you are a pro or complete subscriber, you can sign in, check out those weakness templates, pick out one of the things that you want to work on, and have a full dedicated program to that specific thing. We have a long-held belief that we've had here at Misfit Athletics that you do not know that it's a weakness until you've taken the time to really bear down and work on it, sort of in a vacuum, in a bubble. Pull that thing out of your training and really get after it. If you are a complete subscriber, you can also get your entire program a week in advance. And all you got to do is go into your profile and select the program that you want to appear there. Then every weekend, voila, you will download your program at misfitathletics.com. We are also throwing a bone to the people that know that they're going to stick with us. We got the OGs, we got the new dedicated people. We have yearly pricing now, so you can go in and sign up for an entire year and save a nice chunk of change if you know that you're going to stick around. And just keep going to misfitathletics.com because we are going to be building off of this. We're going to keep adding new features. We're going to listen to you guys. If you have any features that you're looking for, feel free to shout out and let us know what's going on. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook right now and not listening to this podcast, you might notice the snazzy shirts we are wearing right now. Hunter has the very first swing tag tie-dye t-shirt edition. It's spring. It's time to get the guns out. We didn't let Hunter put it on until after he did 30 muscle ups, really kind of see if we can inflate those guns a little bit. Sherb has the Mission long sleeve, a crowd favorite now in a nice spring color blue. And then we have the Purple Rain long sleeve baseball tee, kind of raglan edition, that I'm wearing right now. We've got joggers. We've got the Misfit duo shirts. We've got a lot of really good stuff. And this crowd, the people that are listening to this, deserve inside information. Thursday night at midnight, so technically Friday, but Thursday at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute later from then, the sale starts. And for the first time and potentially the only time ever, all joggers that have been dropped prior to spring cleaning and joggers are going to be 40% off.
Damn.
We do not do that ever, but we got to make some room in our brand spanking new warehouse for all that summer stuff coming in. So joggers and joggers 40% off, and the brand new ones, the coral, the royal blue, those will also be discounted. And athlete codes are going to work. So sharpentheaxecode.com this Thursday when the clock strikes midnight, it will be Friday and it will be on. Sharpentheaxecode.com. Use your favorite athlete code or use the code word Keala, Keala. You still save percent, but we donate that same 10% to the Keala Foundation. All right, the Misfit Takeover 2021 official final leaderboard after 21.3 and 21.4. Top 25 women: Kenzie Riley, Paige Semenza, Caroline Connors, Lexi Colabianchi, Carly Lucas, Sophie Shaft, Lauren Weeks, Alexis Johnson, Hannah Hardy, Lauren Merrill, Shaylin Lohr, Allison Carly, Sonia Mori, Caitlin O'Leary, Erin Vandendriech, Miriam Hazlitt, Jessica Lundeen, Lindsay Lee, Catherine Sanburn, Delia Moises, Ashley Trendell, Ashley Michael, Gabby McClellan, Jenna Michelotti, and Alex, I think it's Miller. It might be Mueller. Alex Mueller.
Pretty sure.
Congratulations. Top 25 Misfits in the world. I don't know what would be cooler than to just give you some free shit. So we're going to go ahead and dump your names into a hat here. This hat will be on sale. Spring cleaning. Little green trucker action. Who would like to pick this? Sherb's going first. Losers go first.
Let's see. Whose name I'm going to mispronounce? Sonia Mori.
Sonia Mori, congratulations on being the...
Oh, pressure's on. What is
Pressure's
it?
on. 13th fittest misfit in the world after the Open. Please email Jen with 2 N's, Jenn at misfitathletics.com. Name, sizes, address, and we will get that gear pack out to you. Now on to the gentlemen.
That's an Aussie name.
Aussie. Roy Gamboa, Holly Holgerson, Austin Spencer, Marshall Creed, Sam Coltharp, Josh Mattis, Justin Reidelbach, Jake Stultz, Jalen Franklin, Alberto Arredondo Sanchez, Zachary Greer, Sean Scott, Joan Falcon. That's a sweet name. I like that. Brody Scott, Brad Miller, Ryan Bretag, George Regas, Sherb, Pebble Wood, Jake Julian, Tyler. Dude,
won't even look at me. I don't even have the courtesy of making eye contact when you do it.
Jen made me read
Look
this.
me in the eyes and say that.
It's on the teleprompter.
Pebble.
Jake Julian, Tyler Changaris,
Perfect.
Brady Fluitt, Hans Kohlenberger, Steve Milanese, and Brent Proctor. Dump these names out. Hunter, champion.
Pebble.
One of them just.
Pebble.
Please pick me.
Let's
Did
go,
Jen
Pebble.
even put my name in here?
Doubt it.
Probably.
I hope so.
She's hoping you'll finally get a large T-shirt.
Ryan Bretag or Bretag.
Ryan Bretag, congratulations on being the 14th fittest misfit in the world. Please email Jenn, Jenn, at misfitathletics.com with your name. Well, she'll probably know your name. Your name, your sizes, your address, all that good stuff, and get yourself a free gear pack. Sherby, what is going on with our remote coaching athletes in the Open?
I was just gonna say, what's really interesting about that list? There are 50 names on those two lists combined. 12 of them are remote coaching athletes. So 12 of those athletes that are on those lists work with us directly, and I couldn't be more proud of the handful I work with. But
I'm gonna haze mine.
Nothing's cooler than seeing those
them.
athletes, put the work in all year and then show up on a list like this. We have a handful of masters athletes and teens athletes that are in the top 10, which is pretty cool. They're moving on to the next stage, and then we have a bunch of people who have set themselves up with a really positive momentum moving forward into the online quarterfinal. So I'm really excited to see what comes that way. What you got, Hunter?
Are you going to read those names?
I'll read the names. All right. So,
Jeez.
Yeah, I guess I can tease everybody. So the names, first and foremost, Jenna Micheletti, 9th place in the 14 and 15-year-old ladies. We have Sophie Shaft, who is in 6th place in the 16 to 17-year-olds. Justin LaSala, 8th in the 45 to 49. Then we have Holly Holgerson, Haralder, if you're talking official here, 22nd in Europe.
Please make sure to use the code Haralder when you check out. Good luck spelling it.
It's only got 2 uses. It's just the first 2 people
mom and
to
dad.
spell it right. Yeah.
You got Roy Gamboa, 39th in North America. Paige Semenza, 23rd in North America. Kenzie Riley, 19th in North America. Austin Spencer, 67th in North America. Caroline Connors, 57th in North America. Hannah Hardy, 121st. Alexis Johnson, 124th. And Caitlin O'Leary, 189th. So there's 12 names right there. It's pretty cool to see.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. And before we talk about the Assault Bike Pro situation, we are going to do a little grip test here. And I'm hoping the standard really screwed their grip up. Hunter, make sure his elbow doesn't touch the table again.
What fucking difference does it make? I come in goddamn less every week. You see it?
Yeah. I don't know. It looked pretty close.
Oh, that looked good.
148.
148?
I think it's a PR by 0.8.
Oh my goodness. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
I took melatonin last night just to make sure I'd be
He's tired. Still tired from it?
162.8.
Damn.
You get stronger by the minute.
You do. I wonder when it registers because you do a really quick, aggressive.
Yeah, I don't know. 1secondwad.com. You know what my endurance
apart.
is.
These results are
One,
bogus. It's falling apart.
Let's reattach that. That's gonna wait. I need that weight to counteract.
Yeah, counteract what?
Yeah.
Counteract what?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I think you've been below 162 before.
Not today, bitch.
73.
73 foe. 73.8. Sorry. 8.
I'm gonna try my left hand next time.
Try old lefty.
It's embarrassing.
My thumb doesn't wrap around on my left side.
All right, Sherb, drum roll. Assault Bike Pro winner will be announced at the end of the podcast.
got him.
Oh,
Gotta watch the whole thing
baby.
now.
Love that. For real, though.
Listen to the whole thing. idiot.
For real. Assault, Proper, Ramwad, Fit Aid. Thank you very much for the prizes. really cool to be able to kind of bring everyone together to get back into that competitive spirit and give away a bunch of free shit. Obviously Proper, we're part of the ownership group with Proper, but having this support system, a lot of these companies, actually all three of these companies have been, an integral part of what we've done for a very long time. And it's just really fun to be able to have, that sort of thing to rally the troops and get everybody to come back together. Hunter v. Sherb. Is this the third year?
Second.
I don't know.
Isn't this I thought this was the third year.
19, 20, and 21. Right?
Or do I
Nice.
just...
We did 19 together because of the wall ball and rowing. We did it together. So we got
that's
three.
right.
We got 3 years. So I guess 19 part 1 and 19 part 2. Maybe is more better
Sure.
way to describe it.
And
I think that was the one that was 19, the one that ended with the thruster
Yes.
chest to bar,
Yeah.
the 33.
Yeah.
So I think you won that year.
Yeah.
I won last year. Yeah, I guess that. Holy fuck, 3 years.
And then you guys just did the standard now, and Sherb would have had a pretty good shot if you didn't go touch and go there at the beginning.
How would I know if I didn't try it?
It's true. It's true. What do you guys think of that workout?
It's pretty fun.
It is actually a lot.
It's really gassy, really, really gassy, and then you get a muscular overload stimulus kind of in the middle towards the last 15 muscle ups, and then you turn the gas tank back on, and you suffer pretty bad at the end there. I don't know. I like the snatches. Snatches were nice. Done in about 2 minutes.
It went better than I thought it would. It's funny. If that were at even 125, that would have been I think that would have been a different story.
Come on.
Like 115. Yeah.
Why did we do it at 135?
Yeah, 120. Yeah. No, it went better than I expected for sure. That is a fun workout though. And for the first time in 4 weeks, I went with a strategy that I was like, this is how I want to do the workout instead of, all right, let's race. Let's see which idiot does the worst strategy and which idiot follows the worst strategy.
I'm pretty sure I was the idiot this time.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you were doing the Metcon snatch, and I was just like, bro, my grip can only handle so much of those.
The funny thing is, I didn't really feel like grip was an issue for me at any point in the muscle ups. It was just the turnover felt sloppy. The dip didn't feel
the
great.
grip plus turnover, and
But to me, it was just funny because the first barbell was kind of like a nice gimme. Got to 10, and then did 20 singles, and then the muscle ups. I was like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Kick up, do a set of 6, and then I go up for the second set. I was like, I'll try to do 6 again. Nah, 4, and I was cemented in place. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go hang out in the chocolate.
I was a little bit worried that it was gonna be. I probably did the ring muscle ups faster than I did my bar muscle ups in 21.3, which isn't saying much. There it is.
I had a troll waiting for you.
You had it teed up for it.
Down. But yeah, I think
Dude takes his own alley-oop. That's bullshit.
Like LeBron over there throwing the backboard.
If it were 30 muscle ups for time, it's open up with a set of 10 or something like that, and then let the sets get smaller. But I was like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I went back and watched the video. I think it took it 5.5, almost 6 minutes for me to do the muscle ups, which isn't incredibly slow, but also not very fast when you're trying to go fast and something like that. So. I think the strategy of touch and go to start was probably a poor one, but like I said just a minute ago, how would I know how much it would affect me until I tried it?
Yeah.
Having now done that, if this were to come up in competition again or for a retest, I would 100% not do any touch and go to begin with, and maybe try to save the touch and go for the last 5 or so in the clean and jerks if I can. I did think about going touch and go at the very end of the clean and jerks, but I was like, he's already been done for a minute and 15 seconds.
I was a little bit worried because there were twice. You were where you at? I was at 14. You were at 13, and you had done muscle. You were slightly ahead of me in muscle ups until that point. Then you asked me again, I think at 20, and it was 2019, and then I pulled away a little bit. And every time you came off, I got to the barbell. Every time you came off the rings, I was like, please don't walk over the barbell. Please don't. 'Cause I know you can go touch and go a little longer than I can with a clean and jerk like that. And I was like, please don't. Please don't. It's make one of those 30 things clean and jerks for time at 115.
If we'd been a little closer, that would have been a pretty terrible way for both of us to have to end that workout. If not knowing where each of us were and being like, all right, I don't know if he's got 5 left or he's got 15 left, so I'm gonna hang on and see what happens. I'm, a little thankful that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
On that day
Well,
of that
but that's a
workout.
perfect example of when people confuse strategy with the like run your own race thing that we talk about a lot. Because you picked a strategy, but then had he caught up to you, the idea of, well, I'm just out for a Sunday.
Stick with my strategy.
I'm just out for a Sunday stroll. Everything's fine. Like that wouldn't have made any sense at that point.
Right.
And that's when you go from, if you're like racing someone in a mile and they decide randomly to start sprinting in the first like 400 meters,
Gabe
it's
does
like,
that all the time.
well, he keeps sprinting and he like does like little stretches and stuff while he's running way faster
Talks
than
to you
you.
the entire time. You
Yeah.
can't breathe.
Jogs backwards while you're trying to catch
Yeah.
him real quick.
Does 5 laps and you do 4. It's fine. But that's the part I think that's missing when people talk about that is it is absolutely positively a sport. And, so is the 1 mile run or the 5K or the marathon in the Olympics. It's still a sport and you're still racing the whole time. But obviously, you bide your time a little bit. You figure out what's going on in the race. You don't have to put so much into it to burn yourself out. But at a certain point, that matters a lot. And there are people you can tell that are good at it, and there are people that aren't. I've coached athletes who have been in the lead an entire workout and could have cruised to a victory and let someone pass them at the very
gas.
end just because they weren't paying attention to who's around them. So obviously Hunter v. Sherb, we're just having fun, but there is a little bit in there. Like Hunter was, there was an anxiety attached to it, but you were waiting for if and when you had to start clean and jerking faster.
Yeah.
And then you do that and hopefully you win.
Yeah, I honestly, in my head, like we were deciding which workout, and I was like, at one, I was not very excited to do this. I was very like fully, like full disclosure.
Do you remember the date you were last very excited?
I don't.
No, no.
Wow, that one really dropped dead. All right.
Circled on like his 10th birthday.
It was a,
Last time I was excited.
It was at Chuck E. Cheese. I was in the ball pit.
I was going to get pepperoni pizza, but she brought me cheese, and then I was sad.
That was it.
That was it.
That's what did it.
It's been 20 years.
Oh my goodness. All right, before we move on to quarterfinals, maybe answering some of the frequently asked questions with what the heck's going on right now. We're in, sort of that limbo mode of
Guess what? We don't know either.
there are some things we know though.
We know some things, but not much.
The open recap. What did you guys think? You got the whole picture now. You've coached your athletes through it. You coached your athletes through retests, Sunday and Monday. What is the overall feeling? What are some highlights? Anything on the open before we wrap that part up?
To me, I thought was really interesting is how each test, and I know people weren't excited about the first one or probably the second one because of the anxiety of what happened the last time they did it and whether or not they were going to PR. But to me, I thought the tests, even only being 4, were very balanced because you had a week where you had to figure something new out, which is something they like to do every single year in the open. They put some sort of wrinkle in there, something you don't train a certain way or you haven't really done very much of. So the wall walk, whatever the hell you call it, that to me was a really interesting feature of it. And I like the fact that they put us into the, the spirit of like the old CrossFit, journal articles where, if you're really, really fit, you should be able to pick things up pretty quickly. So I thought, the first test did a really nice job of that. Second test was like, cool, you can figure out things. Are you tough? And do you want to make things hurt really bad? So I like that angle. And then the last one really give you an opportunity to strategize. So I thought it was kind of a nice 3-pronged approach where you had to figure something out, go really, really hard, but also have strategy. And I think, each one of those has its place in our sport. And I thought it was nice to have a style of workout that kind of catered to each one of those. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think my overall takeaway is, and this is pretty common theme every year. I think it was a definitely well-rounded enough for 4 events from like kind of an inclusivity standpoint. I think the 10% allows the right athletes to go to the quarterfinals, and obviously this kind of the additional test of quarterfinals will get the right athletes to the semifinals. I don't really remember the last time or if ever like the wrong athletes have gotten there like to kind of the games, maybe a little bit that in that weird year, but otherwise like the tests are good. I think for me, the big common takeaway is that obviously you have to be fit to be on the top of the leaderboard, but the best movers win. No matter what, the best movers come out on top every time. The most efficient, and I'll say like in the microcosm of Misfit Gym Portland, like I think that's a microcosm of the worldwide participants in the leaderboard. You've got athletes who work super hard but don't necessarily move as well. We've got athletes who are just doing like the 1 hour class, really hammer it and move very well. And inevitably the people who move the best tend to find themselves higher up on the leaderboard than the ones who just have that, like the raw fitness, I guess, so to speak. It's not to say that, like, I mean, it's still super impressive overall, but you can see it. I like the fact that the lift was a complex that really, really showed like, oh, sweet, I'm sure you could like in that, when the moon's in the sky in the right place, like, yeah, you could clean and jerk. You could manage to yank something off the floor, get under it, and then put it over your head in the ugliest way possible. But as soon as we start to mix and match a little bit and get a movement that requires a little bit more finesse and skill to it, the best movers all of a sudden found themselves up higher on the leaderboard than the ones who had that 1 rep max strength overall. So I think, and that it can be extrapolated to the gymnastics test in 21.3, the wall climbs in 21.1, and a little bit in 21.2 with kind of, footwork. That was much more of just kind of a gross engine test. But in general, I think it's really cool how, once again, like, if you didn't focus on your movement efficiency for a full year, like, that's where you're missing the mark.
I'm a huge fan of that too, because the first year they put the heavy squat snatch 17, where it went from like a 95 pound snatch to a 265. There were a lot of people who were like really upset about, how can you put that much heavier weight in the open? Like, that's not fair. And it's just like, people who are supposed to be there will do that barbell no problem and can move really, really well. So then we got an opportunity to have the clean come back up as an opportunity for a heavy lift. I love the fact that it was a complex, because what you just said, there are so many people who can pull off the ugliest power clean starfish and then somehow split jerk and then run it across the gym and save the lift at the last second.
Yeah.
But can you do that when you're pre-fatigued and then doing multiple reps? So I couldn't have been a bigger fan of finally seeing a complex in the open, because we've been talking about that for years. It'd be nice if it weren't just like, I don't know, front squat or.
Yeah, I think it was that specific thing was a cool combination of, like, normally maybe it would have been like a 20-minute AMRAP, where it's like, once you finish the Metcon, that's how much time you have left, or, and then you kind of isolate some people. Then you get the other group where it's like 2 separate scores, and you get the one person who does like, one front squat and then waits for 15 minutes before they do the clean and jerk. And sure, you could do that, but that won't help you on the leaderboard. Like, it doesn't do anything for you. So I think the way that it was formatted was kind of cool. Yeah. Like, cool, you're strong, but like, are you strong when you're tired, and can you move well? And both of those are not mutually exclusive. They play together really 100%. Well. So that was my big takeaway from the 4 events.
Yeah, thinking about it from that perspective, what a lot of people don't understand is you can be in the camp of, I go really hard and I don't move that well in the affiliate classes, and not care that much about your standing in the open. The problem to me is this idea of, if you don't care about that, there's a pretty good chance that you do care about health and longevity. And when you move well, you have a much better chance of enjoying yourself in the gym. You have a much better chance of, injury prevention anytime coach wants you to go upside down, or, to try to work on the rings and things like that. And even though 21.2 wasn't really a skill test, body awareness is body awareness. How do you, I have photos of some of our competitors who in their first go, their head was below their hips and their arm was bent on the dumbbell snatch an inch off the floor. We have people who were, dropping down into the burpee 2-3 feet away from their box because their momentum had taken them into those places. So it's just, each year you get that nod to start thinking about this, and you do not have to be that person that stays after class and does your extra chest to bar or handstands or anything like that. You just have to start to think about, every time something like that comes up, taking your foot off the gas a little bit, because what happens when you take your foot off the gas and that, you still get to go sit on the rower and make up some time. And I just think that there's a longevity piece for the people that aren't worried about the sport that would bring them into the fold a little bit more.
Sure. But in a similar vein, like, the people who move well in training are also the ones who are able to be consistent in training. Like, how many athletes after 21.2 were like, hey, I need modifications for X, Y, and Z because my back's going to explode if I squat or bend over to pick something up.
Right.
Like that's a small example, but if that happens multiple times throughout the year because you're not moving well during training, when you
subtract a month out of the year pretty quickly.
like you lose a couple weeks, a month out of training. Imagine
performance
that.
and health are correlates. They're going to go together with each other. The better you move, the better workout you get, the healthier you'll be. So like, we had handstand walking as something we've been doing the entire phase for Team Misfit, at our 2 affiliates here. And, after a few weeks, people are like, all right, okay, I can't walk on my hands yet, but like, why do I keep doing these drills over and over again? And it's always going back to like how you do anything's how you do everything. And the more you care about learning how to put your body through space, when you have a movement you do like to do, like a snatch or like a muscle up or some of these more complex things that maybe you enjoy a little bit more than handstand walking, because you have body awareness, you're going to be better at those things. So like there's a correlation between all the movements that we do in the CrossFit gym and whether or not you're doing it for health or performance, you should have the same level of care because they do go hand in hand.
Yeah. And then, just almost recap style on 21.3 and 21.4. 21.3, I would have liked to see more people take chances on their bar muscle ups. He basically, the way that,
What are you saying?
I assume that Castro, no, I'm talking about athletes that are better than you guys. Just kidding.
A lot of those.
The athletes, I'm guessing Castro wanted to program 30 muscle ups for time. How do I fit that into the new open? I'm going to change it to bar and I'm going to put it surrounded by really annoying shit that isn't really all that relevant until you think about your 30 muscle ups for time. And I just feel like there are certain workouts where in the moment, in the chaos, that you forget that you're 3 muscle ups and 15 easy thrusters away from being done this workout or whatever it is. And I would have liked to see athletes take more chances when it came to that. In the musing that I wrote that sort of correlates with this a little bit is just, this is a low to medium risk scenario for a lot of people. And the people that struggle with taking those risks in competition, the people that struggle with, I'm going to run my own race, there are opportunities every once in a while that are there where, you might add 10, 15 seconds to your time, get pissed and redo it on a Monday. But I think that there were a lot of people who left time. And then almost in the exact same vein, people were just too slow on the complexes. And of course, I'm generalizing. I didn't see 10,000 videos. I saw a couple hundred, whatever it was. But so many people had a level of apprehension that caused the time under tension to be so long. And it doesn't matter that, Justin Reidelbach moved fast and you're like, oh yeah, well, he's strong. Well, he also had 100 more pounds on the barbell, right? Yeah. So that sort of thing, you have to understand that in that mode, you have to recruit as much of your fast twitch as you have. Yes, you need a support system. You need to breathe at the right times, brace in the right way from a technical standpoint, but people need to move faster once they start moving in those complexes, especially post workout. That is going to get you your highest weight. And it's hard to go there if you're not used to that. So that's something when we start to program, it'll be in the, the comp blocks coming up. It'll be in the games prep that everyone will follow along, in a version with just less pieces in it. You need to move faster within those. Okay. You're going to feel like, your hair's on fire when you're done, but you're going to get to rest afterwards, unless we program doubles and triples again, which we will. But I saw a lot of people that I think could have put a lot of weight successfully over their head to end that complex if they had cycled faster. And trust me, I get that it doesn't feel like you can, but it's the only way to be as successful as you can be at the highest weight.
Yeah, I thought what was really interesting about that last workout in particular is the athletes who are juxtaposing the idea of like, well, what if I go harder and I get a worse lift? And I think that's, I had a few remote athletes that were on that fence where they were very proud of either their time or their lift, but not so much on the other half. And they were like, I think this is the best I can do. Like, what do I do now? And, you joked about it last time we were podcasting, that like if it was the end of the game and Michael Jordan had an opportunity to shoot another shot, he wouldn't be like, nah, I'm good, yo. He'll take another shot. So, I do think for all of you out there who are looking to really try to push the needle on your performance, that, the worst case scenario is you do it again and you do worse, right? You learn from that.
You got a good workout in a lifting session.
And I think a great example is what you did it on Monday, right? And you did better on the conditioning and you did the exact same on the lift, right?
It was like 7 seconds faster and literally literally 1/2 pound better.
I mean, you and I joke with this all the time. Was it worth it because you only got a few seconds faster? But when you're racing the entire world, that matters.
Always is
100%. So
that's a few hundred points on the leaderboard. Like,
and you got a great workout in, and you had to dig deep again. I mean, that's just even if it was the mental muscles that got more practice there.
That's exactly where I was going with it. Like you learn something on what is it, Thursday night, and you have or Thursday afternoon, and you had the opportunity again a couple days later while it was still fresh in your mind to be like, all right, what needed to be different? And I mean, I don't know if you have any like personal like notes from your second performance
or it was good. One reason that I also wanted to retest it, and I told people who asked me about it whether they should or shouldn't, I said is like, one, the worst thing that happens is you get another really good workout with odds are at least something that you're not good at, because you're asking if you should retest it, which means you didn't do as well as you wanted, which means you could do better. So retest it. But you also, especially the people who are asking are generally the ones who are like performance oriented. And it's like, well, like, so what's going to happen in quarterfinals? Let's say you only get one shot to do your workout. Like, how would you rather have more information about your capacity or less information?
Less.
Yeah, I would rather it be a surprise. Like, so for me, my strategy was, I felt a little bit better as far as like my fatigue levels go relative to Thursday when we did it, and like 7 seconds, and I was like, okay, I'm going to break up the toes to bar. I'm going to be a little bit more methodical on the chest to bar pull-ups. My first couple sets of muscle ups felt better, and I somehow managed to only shave 7 entire seconds off the entire workout. So I'm like, I didn't feel great on Thursday, but I went faster, or I was only a few I was like, mix and match. Like you pick which strategy worked better for you, and now I know. And when I just did the standard out there against you, I was like, probably wouldn't have expected to do singles on the muscle ups, but at the end I was like, like I can kind of move a little bit faster. Like this might work. Like, I really don't want to race on these clean and jerks, so I'm going to try to get ahead there.
And you'll see that on the blog as every once in a while. We'll have, do 60 toes to bar, but we mandate sets of 3, or we mandate sets of 5, or we say unbroken sets of 20. Like, the reason why we program that variance is so that hey, if I need to at this point, I can pivot to small sets. Because you had yelled at both of us when we were doing, 21.3. You're like, whatever you do, stop standing around. I don't care if you do single bar muscle ups, stop standing around.
No one listened to me, but I said it.
I should have.
Caught in my ears, but
if I did it again, I would probably start to do singles on the bar muscle ups a lot sooner.
I mean, in retrospect, I would do it. If I did it again, I would have said, all right, I'm going to do a few more sets, probably do 2 sets on the toes to bar, and maybe 1 or 2 more sets on the chest to bar to try to keep fresh, so that when I get to the bar muscle ups, worst case scenario, I'm able to jump up for doubles, and I'm able to do that with minimal rest instead of trying to wait until I was good for 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Because unless we're talking at the very, very top 0.1%, you're doing a handful of sets. There aren't many people who are going to go up there and do 3 or 4 sets to get 30 bar muscle ups done at the end of that workout.
Yeah, you just learn, and then the same thing with the lift was like, I was like, well, I'm either going to get slightly more, or if I get less, I only shaved off 7 seconds. So I need to at least tie the lift that I hit. And I basically didn't do the entire complex until my second to last attempt. And then I failed a power clean, and Drew was like, are you like trying to squat clean or power clean?
It looked like when you went to power clean and then randomly decided to squat clean it, but your butt was too far behind the bar to squat.
It got heavy. And then, but then
it got heavy.
It was heavy, and I was tired.
Brilliant insight.
Yeah. Turns out it was heavy, and I was tired. But then after, I was like, all right, well, fuck, I better hit this, otherwise I just quote wasted a good effort on the Metcon, and I just squat clean both of them, and I was like, oh fuck, I should have like done that on attempt 3 and then shot for the 255 or 265, whatever, on attempt 4. So the overall point is, and that what everybody can take away instead of listening to me run my suck about my workout, is that when you get those opportunities to retest, and it's not always, it is obviously in the open about trying to get a better score, a faster time. We're not looking to like, okay, I'm going to work on my toes to bar efficiency today. Like, no, motherfucker, you're going to do it as fast as you can. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that, Ted.
Bless you.
But fuck.
Fuck.
All right.
We got it out. We're back.
But you can still take away something like, okay, that strategy didn't work well. What if I do this? Holy crap, this was a lot.
Help himself.
Holy crap, this was a lot easier. I can take this and I can apply it to quarterfinals. I can apply it to semifinals when I'm standing next to somebody and, we're running two different races, so to speak.
Speaking of quarterfinals, we've been getting a lot of frequently asked questions when it comes to quarterfinals, team quarterfinals, the AGOQ, teens and masters. So MisfitAthletics.com is in week 6 of Comp Block 1 right now. Weeks 6, 7, and 8 will conclude Comp Block 1. And if you haven't already noticed, there are partner workouts that are starting to pop up. What we are looking for here is, you can sort of reference back to the podcast we did, when Cody was here and we talked about team stuff, but we're starting to sprinkle in the partner workouts to make sure that if you are going team, if you have those aspirations and you have someone in the gym that can help you work on your synchro movements, just making sure that you understand how hard you can go when you have one-to-one rest or when you're running through something and then, you get a big amount of rest, small amount, whatever it is. We're starting to sprinkle that stuff in there so that you can either attack it as an interval or you can start to go there. Next week, everyone that follows MisfitAthletics.com will be doing some form of the quarterfinals. So when quarterfinals drop, what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that any Hatchet athletes that look at the workouts and go, oh boy, we're going to make sure that the scaling options are there so you can go in and you can really still compare yourself and think about, okay, I did this, this, and this. I just got to get better at my handstand walking, or I got to get better on the rings, whatever it is. And then we are going to write a mock team quarterfinals. And what we are looking for is either you to do your individual quarterfinals. If you're not sure, this year's cool because you're going to be able to go individual or team, but we are going to rewrite all of those workouts so that you feel like you have either that weekend to get after it, or you feel like you have a bank of workouts where you can start to attack, because there's typically patterns in what Castro does across these different segments. Then that following week, week 8, we're looking for a little bit sort of deload before the individuals go into that semifinals prep. There's going to be semifinals notes. We're going to do a full podcast and all that. But weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going to have a slightly different schedule. But the teams still have quarterfinals that following week. So you are going to have team workouts as well in that week 8. We are going to be giving away a lot of this stuff. We really want to put that first round of information out to the teams, those first sets of workouts, to say, hey, here's what our style is. Here's what it would look like to follow Misfit Athletics programming for the teams to get ready for the semifinals. And then if you do decide to jump on board at misfitathletics.com for Comp Block 2, you will have a weekend team session built into that each time. So it's not necessarily confusing as much as it is this time feels a bit uncertain. I just did the open, so I have that mental load that's really on me, but physically it wasn't quite as demanding as it was before. So like with my remote athletes this week, their template is more like, I want to lift, 2 conditioning today, and I want you to mix and match. And if you don't like what you see, you shoot me a text or come find me, and we're going to, write a workout that's there. I still need that volume from them, because quarterfinals for a lot of them, is sort of their pinnacle. But we need that mental load to be decreased a little bit. So if you're watching this right now, you're getting ready for quarterfinals, make sure that you are still training hard, but you're really happy about the stuff that you're doing. If you look at the machine and go, today, really? I still have, sort of that hangover from 21.3, 21.4. Guess what? Go run instead, go row instead, go bike instead, whatever you got to do to get yourself working very hard and, throw yourself a bone every once in a while, get into that wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'd say the only real difference for the teenagers and the masters athletes is that their season's a little bit longer. It's not coming up next week at the end of the week, or by the time you're hearing this, the end of this week. So they're taking the same approach this week, nice and easy. I basically told all my remote clients, like, hey, have fun in the gym, take affiliate class. If you need ideas, reach out to me, but really decompress for a week, because they start to ramp back up, because the AGOQ is in that first week of May. So they're basically getting their deload week right now, and then we're going to start ramping back up. And, a feature of the teens program moving forward is they're going to have, a lift and a conditioning piece for everyone who didn't qualify past or for the AGOQ. And then anybody who did qualify for the AGOQ, there'll be distinct things they're supposed to be doing to prep them for that. So there's going to be a little bit of a lower volume for those athletes who didn't quite qualify for the AGOQ, but an opportunity to see what those pieces are and to see, all right, this is what I need to be working towards, or here are the skills I need to have if I'm planning on competing in the AGOQ. But for a lot of the teenagers, and a good chunk of them made it past the first stage, they're going to have a little bit of nice extra stuff sprinkled in that could potentially show up in the online qualifier. So I'm excited for them to check that out.
I think it's...
Just so you know, we're live. So
Yep.
by the time they're hearing this, that's right now.
Got it.
That's also a good point to just note that age group athletes, teens and masters, should follow the masters or
programs.
teens program. There's not going to be a purchase the AGOQ prep like we've done in the past. Now that because we've split or kind of each individual program is managed separately now, so the masters are going to focus on the AGOQ with options for those who didn't qualify for that, and then same with the teens. So there's not like a, hey, I want to purchase the program. If you want it, like, I guess we'll give you last year's, but whatever.
Use my PayPal account. It's MM.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, send it to my Bitcoin wallet. But yeah, so if you are a master or teen who's just like, okay, now what? Go subscribe to the pro tier and get access to the masters and teens program and get your AGOQ prep going.
Yeah, it's important to say that AGOQ prep, semifinals prep, all of these things are now taking place at misfitathletics.com in line with everything else. So we are prioritizing quarterfinals. We're prioritizing the age group. We are prioritizing semifinals. But our athletes, both sides of the fence, the ones who qualified for the CrossFit Games, the one who qualified, for, regionals back in the day, those separate programs really made people feel like they were on an island and they didn't have the entire community to call on. And we switched, the very first time that we switched this, instead of selling a separate program, is we did games prep last year in line with the blog, and the feedback was that it was the most fun that the people not going to the games had basically ever at misfitathletics.com. So what we're trying to accomplish is you go in there and you do have you got a full buffet. We're talking, old country buffet, mashed potatoes, gravy.
Damn, that brownie soup. Oh,
brownie
sorry.
soup. I don't remember that.
No, it was good. It was good. Brownie soup.
And you're going to be told to pick,
What?
3, 4, 5
You'd
pieces.
love it.
Hey, shut up. 3, 4, 5 pieces.
I got a story about that
my
after.
goodness.
Sorry, Drew, you don't get to talk anymore.
Go ahead. Sorry.
From the buffet. You'll be able to choose what you want
Whole
when
buffet.
it comes to that. Ted, there we go. They're muted. Let's see. What can I say about these guys? So anyways, that's how we are approaching this. We're getting into it, and we are making sure that people get to follow the same program, but the people who are working on something specific can go in and say, I'm trying to get my skill work, my rowing, and my back squatting done today. It's summer. I want to get outside. I want to live my life. The whole spectrum is going to be there for you to be able to choose what you're trying to get after. So we don't want to make it seem like it's not that we don't sell that program anymore. You just already get it if you're a subscriber to MisfitAthletics.com.
Yeah, I think the severing of the community and saying, hey, you're on your island doing your thing, and then you're over here doing something else, it made people essentially feel like they're doing either a really awesome program or the less than program. And, that was never the intention by any means. It was just that hey, we thought they had different needs. But what's really cool about being able to do the semifinals prep and the games prep is that for a lot of you out there, you're huge fans of the sport and you want to see what you could do in some of those events. So I really think back some of my fondest memories training in the gym, or probably doing workouts I wasn't ready for, but I was like, what? I saw, so-and-so on CrossFit.com do this workout in 13 minutes. I'm going to see if I can do it in 20. And things like that, when certain times of the year where it's fun to just kind of throw yourself to the wolves and see what happens, I do think is an important thing to allow you to know where you are currently and to remind you of how much work there's still left to be done. And I think that for a lot of athletes helps scratch that itch and keeps them, fired up to keep wanting to train, because they know, here's where I am and here's where I want to be, and I can see that gap. So for me, it's just a really cool part of the year to be able to do things that are maybe a little bit ahead of where you are currently, but gives you that reflection point to go, all right, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, when you're so we'll have, like I said, we'll have our Competition Block 2 podcast. We'll talk about how that's all going to work, but it's just kind of fun to have the idea of when you look at how much athletes get better throughout the course of a season. A lot of it does have to do with, okay, someone qualifies for the semifinals and you don't, and they train harder in that period of time. And then they qualify for the CrossFit Games and they train harder in that period of time. And while having a couple extra weeks rest would help them, the sport is definitely turning more and more and more to like being ready at all times during the season. So you can follow along, you know, if you just barely missed semifinals, you can follow along, but have that a little bit less volume and a little bit more personalized attack. And you can stay, you know, sort of up to date and even surpass the people that beat you in the quarterfinals by doing that. And I prefer thinking about it from that standpoint more than I do the old school in-season, off-season.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the potential to have essentially 2 seasons, the way they alluded to way back, that there might be, you know, the individual and affiliate season and then the super team season afterwards. And, you know, to really fit with the methodology, you need to be ready at any point. That was like the biggest thing back in the day, is that you could do Fran at, you know, 3 a.m. in an ice bath with a bucket on your head, and somehow you'd still be able to do it as fast as you could in the middle of the day. The idea of being constantly ready is super important. And I do think that, you know, having things that you train for year round and being able to see where you are throughout the entire season gives you things to check in for. And I think years past, they tried that with Team Series and with the Rogue Liftoff and a few other events they had. But now it feels like these seasons make a little bit more sense now, and they want you to be ready at any point. And, you know, if you're really training CrossFit methodology, you aren't necessarily peaking year round, you're peaking for certain events. So to me, it's just a way to keep athletes kind of in check year round.
Yeah. Are we ready to give away an Assault Bike Pro?
Did I win?
There we go. There we go.
Assault Bike Pro.
The winner of the Assault Bike Pro, free $99, $0.00 is Paul Hammer.
Hey,
Paul,
nice work. Entering your name.
nice job, Paul.
I'm so impressed.
So we always hold up the standard around here. We use the random number generator for all of these things, and when an OG Misfit pops up for the Assault Bike Pro, we just, you know, just feel it.
Teardrop.
Yeah, little teardrop there.
Feel it right in my lungs.
So shout out to Paul, and shout out to everyone on the Misfit leaderboard. Shout out even to the people who forgot to put themselves on the Misfit leaderboard.
Partial shout out to them.
Partial shout out to you. Some of our athletes, Jen had to input their names. You know how it is.
Is Cody on it yet?
Cody did not sign up for the Open this year, although he crushed the Open this year.
What do you lift? Like 225?
Oh, got him.
Got him.
Yeah, Cody.
Joke's on us.
Put your name on that leaderboard.
And we're gonna run back through the sponsors here real quick. Just talk about them a little bit. Sharpen the Axe, obviously. Spring cleaning coming up. Who knows if it's Thursday or Friday at midnight, 1 minute after 11:59 p.m. on Thursday is spring cleaning at sharpentheaxeco.com. Everything in the entire site, including all the brand new stuff, 20 to 80% off. Any previously released joggers or yoggers, 40% off. We've never done it. We might never do it again. You might want to go get yourself some joggers or yoggers. And I set up the sales tiers and they are beefy. Okay. You know, normally what was 20, 30, 40% off this time is 40, 50, 60% off.
Yeah, I did.
Sure, upgraded all of them to 80% off.
Chance you guys could sneak in there and get some shit for free right now.
Also,
the website.
I mean, if you're listening at this point, you got to be invested. There are some Easter eggs that we are not posting on Instagram. We've got some stuff that we've pulled out of the woodwork. We've got some brand new stuff. So make sure that you Pebble's signature series. It's going to be very hard. It's very small clothing.
Thought you were going to go with like a very gray rock color, but nope.
Just tiny clothing. Sort of like the ornaments that they make with the little sweater on them. That's the Pebble collection. Keep your eyes out. So you can also head to properfuel.co for your complete post-workout nutrition solution: protein, carbs, electrolytes, creatine, leucine, digestive enzymes, in case you do not You do not agree with Wei. Wei doesn't agree with you. Whoever is
I don't agree
not
with it.
agreeing.
Whoever is in the disagreement,
Right.
camp.
You can come together with some with some digestive enzymes.
Like a therapist for your protein shake.
Make sure you get signed up for your RomWad account. They are on SugarWad as well. It's really cool to have that in line with your other programs. The video is actually in line on SugarWad, so it's not like you sign up and then it takes you somewhere else. Fit Aid, I am a voracious consumer of Focus Aid and Immunity Aid. Those are my go-tos. Although I will say Life Aid is my favorite flavor, but from a function standpoint, Focus Aid and Immunity Aid are my go-tos.
Golfer Aid is actually my favorite flavor.
That's your favorite.
I agree with that, too.
order some of
That's
those.
most people. It seems like Life Aid is a love-hate. Some people think it's spicy.
Is that the red
turmeric?
one?
Yeah, I mean, my dad's been putting like 3 tablespoons of cayenne pepper in my food since I was like 3. So
Here,
I
kid, snort this. You'll be fine.
so I don't really notice. But I would say flavor-wise, that's my favorite. But Focus Aid, Immunity Aid, so shout out to them. Last but not least, Assault Fitness. We've been using their bike ever since the beginning.
Breaking bikes since 2010.
Yes, we have been snapping Airdynes, and thank goodness the Assault bike came out. And to be honest, being in a place like Maine and not being able to use sleds and sort of get that real resistance work that has the intensity, the CrossFit kind of flavor to it. It's very challenging to do here a lot of months out of the year, and just kind of sucks some of the other months out of the year. So being able to walk out into the garage or walk out into the gym and get after it with that, it is a tool that is unmatched. There is nothing else out there where you go out and put your head down and go as hard as you possibly can. So yeah. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to send me subliminal messages?
No, I was just gonna say with that assault bike, there's literally nothing on earth that can push the needle in that like high performance, gut wrenching, 100% full on effort all year round. Like you were saying a second ago, you can't use a sled, especially if you're in Maine for 6 or 8 months out of the year. So to have that at your arsenal at your fingertips, be able to go down to the garage, go into your affiliate, and just hammer yourself for honestly 10, 15 seconds. 4 or 5 times, day's over.
Take
That's all
medicine.
you need. Just take your medicine. I always think that's great when you put that on social media. Like, just go down to the garage and take your medicine.
Yeah, I got one. It works.
You got one and it works.
I got one and it works.
I thought you were saying you had something to
all.
say, and then you stopped talking.
It is what I have. That's what it was. It is what I have to say.
I said it.
It is. I just said.
I said it.
I got one and it works.
And obviously, you can head to SugarWad Marketplace, MisfitAthletics.com, TeamMisfit.com to get your programming that we put out there. And you can get 2 weeks for free at any point. What you got to say?
Can I?
Oh, no.
Yeah, little.
He did have
quick,
something to say.
I did. I do have something to say. I got Misfit affiliate. It's good. That's it. No. Next.
Insightful.
So this week, currently, the week that we're in right now, we're kind of working through a similar to the Misfit Athletics blog, kind of a partner week, a little bit of a decompression after the open. Next week and the following week are our baseline testing weeks that we're pretty excited about. And those are a little bit different than your normal test retest. This is going to be more of like an annual thing that we're doing, because affiliates, like the test retest at the beginning and end of the phase is cool. But again, we're in it, especially at the affiliate level, in it for kind of that long, the low trajectory, distant horizon sort of deal. So we're going to throw in a bunch of old CrossFit benchmarks, some Misfit benchmarks, including a new one that we came up with that we think is a pretty
We've been testing it for 6 years.
We've been testing it for 6 years, and
fine-tuned.
It's
Thank goodness I've done it 12 times.
it's in 13 different versions. Really good, well-rounded test. But we've also got, I'll throw a couple out there now. Things like CrossFit Total, always fun to throw down with that at the affiliate. You are going to do the old 5K run.
Atalanta, double Murph.
No,
I'm just kidding.
not Atalanta. But a couple other tests that are just going to give athletes kind of that baseline data that they, whether you log it in SugarWad, be on the whiteboard, old school in the pen and paper sort of thing. Like, oh yeah, I am getting fitter. Whereas, we're not necessarily programming Fran regularly. We want to give you the chance to maybe fill out those old whiteboards atop over the, hanging above in your affiliate with the 1 through 5, kind of refill those out, and then we kick off baseline training phase 1 on April 19th, which is kind of the restart of the season. There will be some very heavy back squats. I think everybody's looking forward to that. and we'll continue on from there. So teammisfit.com, you can see actually the entire 2 baseline testing weeks available now on teammisfit.com. If you go to our most recent blog post, we tell you all about what to expect in those weeks and include the weekly overview for those 2 weeks. So it's not too late to grab a hold of that and then start it next Monday with your affiliate.
Booyah.
Boom. Final shout out. Please support the people that support us. Properfuel.co, romwatt.com, fitaid.com, assaultfitness.com, and Misfit Athletics and teammisfit.com or the Sugar Wad Marketplace. You know what? We don't know what the heck is going on next Thursday, but we will be here. We will be ready. We will have media ready for you. We're going to show you what the workouts look like. We're going to talk strategy. We're going to do the same stuff, times, Ted's hoping it's not times like 19 workouts or whatever it is, but we will be
Ted's
here.
really hoping for a 40-minute workout.
8 40-minute workouts?
8 40-minute workouts.
So keep your eyes at Misfit Athletics on Instagram. We will, as we get more information, we will put more information out about what our plan is. We will see you then.